Hi, this novel is Speak to Our Desires, and it begins in June 1969 in New York City. When I say I'm a private investigator, you might think James Bond or Sherlock Holmes. You shouldn't. But sometimes life insists on imitating art. That June day, during lunch hour, the office door banged open. In the doorway stood a beautiful blonde, very young but perfect. Her skin was like roses. Her hair hung down in back like pale, heavy silk. Her clothes had that sheen of high fashion that means money. Just like in a movie, two big tears rolled down her flawless cheeks. "I need help," she whispered. I almost looked around for the TV cameras. It was a perfect setup for Allen Fund. Instead, I tossed my newspaper on top of a filing cabinet and stood up. "Sit down, miss. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Here, a Kleenex. Did you want Mr. Deptford?" "I don't care," she sniffled. "I just need a detective." That was good. Ernie Deptford, my partner, was in the hospital for gallstones, so if she wanted him, she'd be disappointed. I didn't want her to be disappointed. I shut the door and sat down in my chair again. She sat on the edge of the plaid office sofa. A lot of excellent leg showed under the hem of her skirt. The mini is the best development in fashion since the bikini. "What's your name? Tell me about it. How can I help?" She blew her nose. An hour ago, I would have said, "It's not possible to blow your nose and look great doing it." She looked wonderful. "I need to find my mom," she said. My heart sank. "How old are you?" "I'm 17, she said defensively, "and I can pay. Look." She dipped into her handbag and passed me a manila envelope. Inside was $1,000 in 50s, still held by the paper band. I riffled the edge of the wad and passed it back. "A girl like you shouldn't walk around with cash like this. Someone snatches your purse, and then where are you?" "I can handle myself." For a second, she looked hard as nails. "Like it says on the radio, you don't have to be a weatherman to know which way the wind blows." "Tell me your name," I said, wary. "Where'd you get this cash? How'd you mislay your folks?" She sat back on the plaid sofa, cool and calm. A chilly pride flowed out from her like Queen Victoria being not amused. "I earned it," she said, "and not the way you're thinking either. My name is Eleonore Quartern. Perhaps you've heard of me." "No," I had to admit. "But let me guess, you're an actress." "On TV. No, Broadway. Your family, let me see. Aging but honest mom, 2 kid brothers, baby sister. They were kidnapped by feuding hillbillies in rural Kentucky. Or was it Mormon schismatics in the mountains of Utah? And you've come to New York City to hire Tim Coates, the best investigator in the Western Hemisphere, to find him." That made her smile. "Are you really the best investigator in the hemisphere, Mr. Coates?" "You bet. How'd you hear about me?" "I used the yellow pages." I clapped a hand to my head and slouched onto the inky desk blotter. Sic transit gloria. What do you do, really? Here. She took out a glossy magazine. It was last winter's Harper's Bazaar. Roberta, our secretary, prefers La Mode. The clothes are cheaper. I began to flick through it, but she said, "No, look at the cover." The woman on the cover looked like a clown in the heavy makeup they favor these days. You could have polished a shoe with her eyeliner. She wore an ugly dress, what they call op art. I had to look twice at the face. "That's you!" She nodded. "It's a living." I don't read these things, so I was horrified. "But you're so beautiful. Why do you let him do that to you?" She smiled again, a fleeting half smile like the Mona Lisa. "It's a living," she repeated. "Now, tell me about your firm, Mr. Coates. Can you find my mother for me?" "You bet. Or," I added, "we can find out what happened to her. I mean, if she's deceased or moved to Brazil or something. When'd you see her last?" 3 years ago. It'll be a snap, that short a time frame. "Good. It's like I really want to see her again." She blinked hard to keep the tears back. "What I'll need from you," I scribbled on a scratch pad. Names, her family, your father's family, where she's lived, on what she does with her time, friends, church, junior league. None of that, she said. She has none. No family except me. No friends, not what you'd call friends. I could already see this wasn't going to be a usual investigation, but I could sort it out. Well, list whoever you want. Here, take this. Write down everything, bring it back when you're done, and we're off to the races. She frowned down at the paper. Is there any way to find her without all these questions? I banged my hand on the desk. Look, I'm an investigator. I ask questions. You want answers and no questions, you get an astrologer. I'm sorry, she said right away. I didn't think. She must have seen I really meant it. Her eyes were very bright, gazing straight into mine. They were brown, an unusual color in a blonde. Who knows what would have happened if the office door hadn't banged open again. It was Roberta, back from lunch. She summed up the situation in one needle glance. Ernie started out with Roberta back in the Eisenhower administration, and she knows the business inside out. I'm back, Mr. Coates, she announced unnecessarily. Let me switch the phones back to my desk. She marched over to my phone and flipped the switch, taking in Eleonora's paper while she was at it. Perhaps you'd prefer that typed up, miss. Mr. Coates' writing is impossible. Meekly, Eleonora handed over my notes. Roberta took it to her desk near the door and ran some paper into the black manual typewriter. Over the clatter of the keys, I said, Where can I reach you, Miss Quartern? The formal dame didn't taste very good, and I was glad when she said, Please call me Ellie. Ellie, is that what they really call you? Sure. She didn't seem surprised. Eleonora, that's my professional name. I'm really Ellie. Triumph glowed in my chest as if I'd actually advanced in intimacy. Are you staying in town, Ellie? Right now I'm at the plaza. She took out a checkbook, just like in a Nero Wolfe novel. Shall I give you a retainer, and you can give me your expense account later? But it didn't feel right, money exchanging hands now. No, Roberta will send you a bill. She smiled again, and I felt my knees weaken. She stood up. Roberta brought over the typed notes, and she was gone. I leaned back in my chair with a sigh of happiness. I think I'm in love. You and who else? Roberta glared down at me from her 5'2", hennaed curls bristling. A bill? Ha! You didn't even give me a chance to call the plaza to see if she's really registered there. What the diff? We haven't done any work yet. If she doesn't return with that list, we haven't lost a dime. I retrieved the paper and unfolded it at the sports page. Roberta snorted and tripped back to her desk. After a while, she went out again to the ladies' room. Quickly, I dialed the Plaza Hotel. Is there a Miss Eleonora Quartern registered there? Yes, there is. No message yet. I'm just checking for a floral delivery. I scooped up my paper again before Roberta came back.